Welcome to the Take a Listing Today podcast, where our hosts Jim Studebaker and Todd Robertson give you strategies to get you out of the office right now so you can take a new listing today. And now, here's Jim and Todd.
Welcome back. It's our Take a Listing Today podcast. Jim Studebaker here, Todd Robertson over there, Lisa Gray in the producer's corner. Lisa, you have a chair now. How nice.
I know. This is my bonus. This is my annual bonus chair.
You got a bonus? Okay, good. All right, good. Well, apparently we didn't need that chair because we told our studio audience, you cannot be here. There's a virus going around, so we kicked the studio audience out in the street, and so
no studio audience today. There's a line around the building. They still want in, but we did give them free audio.
Yep, they're watching it live on Facebook and YouTube, right?
Exactly.
All right, so welcome. Don't forget our website, takealistingtoday.com, where you can sign up for our next live recording and win some cash and prizes. Speaking of that, am I supposed to read all this right now, Lisa?
You can do a quick overview.
Okay.
We've got notes in the descriptions for both of the live broadcasts right now about how if you give us your phone number and your name, send it to my email. We're going to call you right now, have a quick conversation with you about marketing, about our topic, and you can play a game to win a $25 ProspectsPLUS gift card. Free marketing. You can win free marketing.
Nice. So there you go. And if you recall from last week's episode, we had a caller call in and we got his voicemail, and he requested that we call him back this week. So we're going to start off with that.
We have the piece of paper right here.
This is it here. This is Daryl, and we're going to call him up.
He might be out prospecting right now, but let's try to get him live.
All right. We'll see what happens here. We're dialing for dollars.
Dialing for Daryl.
Let's see here. We're looking for Daryl. Where's Daryl located? Do we know?
Let me see.
That's not really important.
That's a good question. Huh?
Okay. We'll see if we can get him. If we can't get him, then...
Here he is. Is that Daryl?
Yes, this is him.
Hey, Daryl. How are you, sir? Todd Robertson and Jim Morton. Take a Listing Today podcast.
Oh, yes. How you doing?
Outstanding. Where is home for you, sir?
Detroit, Michigan.
Very nice, very nice. I used to be up there in St. Clair Shores with Floyd Wickman years ago. Beautiful part of the country.
St. Clair Shores is actually really nice. Man, I literally just seen the email, man, and just signed up 10 minutes ago. I forgot you guys even were going on at 2 o'clock.
Right.
Sometimes we forget as well, but here we are. So, yeah.
That's fast, man. Too much going on.
There's a lot going on here.
Hey, man, I'm not live now, am I?
Yeah, you're live to 60,000 realtors around the country, so, yeah, you're fine. You're doing great.
You are doing great.
So Jim had a couple of questions for you.
So Daryl, you thanks for reaching out to us. Do you have a wonderful marketing success story you want to share with us, or do you have a question that you would like to ask the experts, or are you just here to win some cash and prizes?
Man, a little bit of all three, man. So I actually did have a little success, man. I put out my first mailer campaign of a just sold, and actually got a phone call from a guy off the flyer, man. I'm getting ready to close on his deal soon.
Wow! Congratulations!
Very
That's
nice.
Awesome.
And then give us just a gauge for our audience. So you close roughly how many transactions per year?
I'm fairly new, man. So I think I'm around 3 or 4 on. I think I did 4 last year, and I'm already on. I got like 2 or 3 coming this year so far already.
Excellent.
So,
yeah, and that's what's great about this. We get people with all different ranges and helping each other out, which is great. And you're already getting some momentum with direct mail, so you're way ahead of most new agents starting off who are scared. You're not scared, so congratulations on that. Stay strong.
My mentor, man, he made a lot of sense to me. He said, because even in my own neighborhood, how many postcards have I got from other realtors? I haven't received the one, man. So if nobody else is doing it, why not do what everybody else is not doing so you can get ahead?
There you go.
That made a lot of sense to me.
Well, and you bring up a great point, because I talk to hundreds of realtors each week, and it's so fascinating that in a world of technology overload, right? And of course, we have to have a technology footprint nowadays, make it easy for people to find you. But direct response marketing, they tell us that 90-something%, what is it, 95 or 97% of people still go to their mailbox. And imagine if something resonates, now your postcard, like what happened to you, is floating around the house. Oh, there's Daryl. Oh, man, wow. So, great job on that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and my thing is now I want to try to stay consistent, man. We'll get out once I got my first one now, I want to at least try to put out 1 or 2 a month. So, you know, just stay relevant, man. Stay in people's face. And like I said, they see those postcards and they might keep it. And it might be sitting around the house or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
so,
stay in their face. Exactly.
So my question to you guys is, man, how else can I stay relevant with the postcards? Not just sending out the same type of postcard, man. How else can I stay relevant with direct marketing?
Nice. Great question. You know, one item that a lot of agents will do is what we call a neighborhood update. And that's where a real estate agent will provide values of houses that are currently on the market in an area that you're farming and recent sales activity. And that's going to open up the eyes of a lot of people that you send these postcards to, because they're going to say, wow, I didn't realize that homes were selling for so much in here. And if they've been kind of on the fence waiting to list their house, that might push them forward to go ahead and do it.
Correct. And Daryl, the other thing that I like, and tell me if you're doing this already or not, is door hangers. And the reason that's great is because you're going to accidentally meet some people out there anyway. And the magic of that is, you know, you're going to be sharply dressed, you know, you're articulate, you know the market stats. Most people are afraid to do that because, oh my gosh, what if I run into a live person? What do I say? What do I do? Well, you're sharp enough. So I would say if you haven't done that, implement that. And that way, when your marketing piece hits, they're like, oh, I met Daryl. He's sharp. Get him the listings. Get him the referrals.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jim, the neighborhood...
I have not implemented door hanging or door knocking yet, man, but I will definitely start.
Start that tomorrow. Start that tomorrow by noon.
It's a little cold here right now.
That's perfect.
Cold.
Less competition out there. So start it tomorrow by noon. You'll be fine. Give us a report at 2. I'm kidding, Daryl.
Nice. I'm sorry, Lisa. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I was just saying that neighborhood update, that's a postcard, correct? That they just can open up and fill in all of that neighborhood data and send out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, okay. All right, well.
Yep. I've seen it on ProspectsPLUS. Like the on the fence postcards and the market updates.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely will try to get some of those out. And I had much success with the I feel like the jumbo postcards was more of a plus versus the standard size.
Sure, they stick out more in the mail. So the bigger size you go, the more it's going to get noticed. So yeah, if the jumbo was working for you, I would stay with that. Definitely.
Yep. I definitely did like the jumbo a little bit better, but it cut down my market because, you know, by them being, I think it was almost $50 or $60 more for the jumbo cars to put out 250 versus the standard cars. I could have did 500 for the same price.
Well, exactly. And I was going to ask, either you or Lisa might know the resource. Is there a resource we could send him to on our site that has that one-page business plan that he could download, or does he have to get that magazine? Because I'm thinking I like his energy, like his attitude, you know, getting some momentum right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there a resource he can go to get that, or no?
That's in the downloadable marketing calendar, right?
Yeah. He can. I'll send him some resources. Daryl, we'll send some stuff out to you. After we're done here, we'll get some information and we'll get some stuff out to you because I have your email address from you replying. So I'm going to email you and get an address to send you a bunch of cool stuff, okay?
Wait, does he have to answer the question?
Well, yeah. Now,
correctly?
sounds like he needs marketing dollars. It's time for him to win a gift card.
Oh! Are you ready for this, Daryl?
Yes.
All right, Daryl, here it is. One shot, make it count. Ready? How many centimeters are in a meter?
How many centimeters are in a meter?
Yeah.
Google it, Daryl. Google it.
That's a tough one. You can't use your cell
we're not
phone.
Googling it.
How many centimeters? How many centimeters in a meter?
Yes, exactly.
100.
Very real estate related, right?
Final answer?
100.
100?
Yep.
Yes, good job.
Daryl, whoa.
100. Congratulations. Todd, what does Daryl win today?
Daryl won a copy of the book, Become a Listing Legend, and a $25 Prospects Plus gift card for anything on our site, which will help him with his door hangers that he's starting tomorrow in the snow.
Especially, yes.
Yeah.
Your galoshes are on you, but we'll take care of the door hangers here for you.
Yes. I don't know if you could go snowmobiling to pass them out door to door, if that's too destructive. Yeah, so.
No, you'll be the only guy out there handing out door hangers, so you're going to make a mark, right?
Yeah.
The month of March. We don't have snow, and don't jinx it. So.
All right.
Yeah, but it is still a little chilly, but I will take it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Daryl. Stay strong. Thanks for calling in today, and you will enjoy the book and the gift card. Thank you very much. Stay strong out there.
Daryl, I'm going to email you.
Have a good one.
All right. Daryl, we're going to email you. Lisa's going to email you some stuff, so look forward to that so we can send you out your stuff. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, so we're going to talk about, did we even get to our title of today's show? Our title, what?
Did you hang up? Oh, yeah.
Yes, I hung up on him. He's gone. Our topic of today's show is the biggest complaint clients have about their real estate agents. Wow.
So,
Wouldn't it be nice for somebody to know what that is when they're starting out in the business?
in other words, this is all what not to do. And hopefully you guys watch. If you know the biggest complaints, this should be easy. Why? We know Rossi told us sitting right here, 70% of agents don't make it in the business, right? And most are going to do what's in here anyway. So if a realtor can pull it together and just shift a little bit, like a sailboat. If you alter the sails a tiny bit, it's not going to matter at first, but long term it's going to matter in a huge way.
Exactly.
So let's cover these topics.
So get started with these in mind so you don't fall into the same trap that 90% of the agents out there are doing.
Oh, share the first one.
This is a review that was on Trulia. Are you ready for this? Before I chose an agent, I called and left messages with many different agents inquiring about their services. And I'd say 90% of them did not return my call. Now, shouldn't that be like Real Estate 101 that says return people's phone calls?
That's very surprising. Now, if we take a look and say why, right? We don't really know why that particular agent did not return the phone call. But if we had to guess, we're going to guess that they didn't know what to do or what to say, or didn't have their act together to overcome objections, or not willing, didn't know. So watch this. Go to your broker, go to your mentor, go to your top agent in your office, have them work with you, have them role play you, because the stronger you get, the more confidence you will get, and you'll be willing to return calls quickly and go visit people because you know you'll be able to help them.
Right. So probably the first one, return people's calls. Here's another problem that we saw online. A real estate agent at a Hear It Direct event stated, "We didn't know there were all these things that we had to pay for. My agent never brought it up." So that would be like communication. Like, you're not letting your clients know, oh, by the way, you need to pay for this and this and this and this at the closing.
Correct. A net sheet, or if there are upfront expenses, maybe professional photography, however you work that out.
So on top of that, another client was so disgusted by her agent's lack of an explanation of the process that she said she won't use any agent services in the future. She said, "We'll probably just do it on our own. We feel like we're doing that already." So this one agent is giving every real estate agent around a bad name.
And think about this, right? It's like the old saying, if a cat sits on a hot stove, a cat won't even go back and sit on a cold stove. So you've given your industry a bad name, and now they're thinking, if they get to another agent, even if they're superstar quality, they're thinking, oh boy, nightmare process where...
here's some more nightmares. So a home seller at citydata.com who vented his frustration regarding the lack of communication said, "I figure an email a week telling me how many hits I've gotten on the various real estate sites, calls about my property, and general market conditions would work. But I shouldn't have to chase my agent down to hear what's going on."
Correct. First of all, how are you going to get referrals if you're playing like that? And second of all, you want to be in touch weekly, because if you're in touch weekly and you have good rapport and the property is still on the market, that means we have to do a price reduction. So now we have good communication, and that Mr. and Mrs. Seller will be more open to that.
Yeah, and if you're afraid of calling your seller and saying, well, we haven't had any calls or any showings or anything, then you need to do something, because that doesn't do you any good as an agent having a listing with no activity.
Exactly. It might be staging, it might be decluttering, it might be price. Correct.
So agents, past history, have come up with a lengthy list of excuses as to why they don't call their clients. They run from, "I don't call if nothing is happening," to, "I didn't get your message." I don't think I would believe that. Yeah, so
It happens.
All right. Why aren't agents working harder to provide this most in-demand aspect of customer service? I don't know why, because communicating with your client helps dispel the oft-repeated complaint that real estate agents don't do anything to earn their commissions. And it builds trust and makes it for a more relaxed working relationship. So, you're thinking to yourself, all right, that's bad. So now what do I have to do so I am not that lame agent right there? Well, explanations, walkthroughs, and examples go a long way in helping a client understand the complicated selling process, especially when you're working with first-time home sellers or even home buyers. A real estate client who feels isolated during the sale of such a huge investment is uncalled for in an industry that prides itself on building relationships.
And here again, if this is not done right, no referrals.
Mm-hmm. Take a tip from buyer's agents. They hold buyer consultations before showing homes. Take the time to walk your listing client through the entire process from what happens immediately after signing the listing agreement all the way up until the closing table. And outline the costs of selling the home, what might go wrong during the process, and their responsibilities during the process as well.
Now, I wrote down 2 things in our production meeting. If you want to talk about customer service, right? You want to talk about leaving an impression. I wrote down 2 things, non-real estate related. Those of you that have an American Express card, if you've ever called their customer service, it is Ritz-Carlton quality. It is the finest. You are not routed. There's not a 2 or 3 second delay. So that's one. The second is Wolfgang Puck. I read a book recently, and before he opened his chain of restaurants, he did some homework for a couple years. Mm-hmm. And in the book, it was so incredible. Here's how he trains his staff. He found out, he said, what's the most exciting time of a restaurant? And they decided it was opening night. So he trained his staff. He said, every night is opening night. Thing about that, it didn't cost him any money. Mm-hmm. Just had a conversation, changed the mindset about how you dress, how you show up, you're excited, the people walking in. Imagine, wow, if a real estate agent could come from that place.
That's really great. Imagine every night is the opening night of this restaurant.
That's how he trains his people. Unbelievable.
That's good.
Think about it. That's a Broadway play. When you go to a Broadway play,
right.
It feels, I mean, for anybody in that audience, it's
First
opening
time.
night. So those actors have to show up that way. I always think about that.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Yeah.
So you want to explain what happens after they sign the listing agreement when you're working with sellers. Detail the process from the beginning to the end. Don't assume they know anything. Describe your marketing plan and when and how you'll implement it. Explain what the broker's open house is and how important it is. Show them a lockbox and explain how it works and why they need it and what to expect from buyers agents and everything else they need to know about the marketing period. Explain how the offers will be presented to the sellers. Discuss the period after an offer is accepted, the escrow process, the paperwork they'll encounter, disclosure duties. Remind them that they'll need to be accommodating to the appraiser and the home inspector, and then explain the whole closing process.
And here's what's great. Think about this topic right here. That imagine a for sale by owner, someone that's trying to sell their house on their own. If they knew the process it takes and the time and money it takes, then they're going to want to go with a real estate agent. So look at this podcast from 2 different ways here today as we're going through this.
Good point. Very good point. So remember, even the smallest aspects of the home sale process may be completely foreign to a client. So don't assume that you don't need to explain it to them. Aside from an actual sit-down seller consultation, there are a number of other ways to provide this information, from a book or an ebook to a video or the plethora. Is it plethora? Plethora, sorry. Or the plethora of information on your website.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Huh? Virus might be getting to me or something. All right. Another way to be a great communicator is to ask and listen. So ask the questions, lots and lots of questions. How do they prefer to communicate? By text, email, or phone? How often would they like to hear from you? Is once a week okay? Or would they like to hear from you, 5 times a day? Whatever it is, find out.
Here's what's great about that. Ask and listen. If a realtor just took that out of this podcast, here's what's great about that. If you can ask enough questions and really listen, not just, I'm asking because, and write down the answers. They're going to tell you what they're going to need to be sold. What are you going to have to do to get my listing? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, what objections am I going to have to overcome? Ask and listen's a beautiful thing.
That's a whole nother podcast there, going over all that technique, right?
Correct. Yeah.
That's a good idea for a show, Lisa. Okay. Write it down. Thank you. So finally, make sure you find out how they feel about open houses and what are their biggest fears during the whole home buying or home selling process. Is there anything about it they would like to know more about? And then after you do all that, remember that asking questions actually isn't enough. You need to listen to the answers, get clarification, ensure there are no misunderstandings about their expectations. And now, the saying of the podcast. This is tying it all up in one sentence. When in doubt, communicate often. Toss the old advice about not saying anything if you don't have anything nice to say. Homeowners crave communication, so provide it as often as possible. Even if you have nothing to communicate, reach out to your client and let them know. I'll bet you can come up with some great things of value to communicate with your buyers or sellers, such as how many people toured the home during the last week, how the open house went. If it was crappy, tell them. What type of feedback did they or their agents leave? Is there anything going on with the overall real estate markets that they should know about? If the home is under contract, let them know how the escrow process is going and find out if they have any questions, such as maybe what comes next. So now we're going into the dictionary, yes.
And here's what's great. This could all be handled. You can pre-frame them at the listing appointment or pre-frame them on the phone as you're qualifying them. That here's, as a real estate agent, I stay in touch with my clients, whether it's weekly. And just like we talked earlier, at a minimum, it has to be weekly. Why? Outside of an investor, this is their biggest asset in their life. So let's put them at ease, but also let's make it easy, because what do they want? They want the most money in the shortest period of time. So if we're communicating, it's not us doing the price, the market is going to tell us the price. So we can go to them and say, boom, here's what the market's telling us.
So Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines consultant as one who gives professional advice or services. Now, keep in mind, these homeowners could have chosen to sell the home without an agent, but chose to go with you because of your professional knowledge. By consistently communicating with your clients throughout the sales process, you'll make them very happy that they chose you. And hopefully, they will be happy to recommend you to others. That's the whole referral game there.
So the biggest complaints, so do not do what is in here, because that's what the 70% do. Be in that top 30%. Listen to our podcast weekly, and we'll help put you in the top 10% of this game called real estate.
Wow, that's a very nice closing, Todd.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anything else, Lisa?
No, we're good.
All right. Well, now you know what the biggest complaints are about real estate agents, so don't be that agent, okay? Don't forget to visit our website and join us on our next live taping. You'll have a chance to win some great prizes, and we're going to call you now because this seemed to work out pretty good. So cool. Don't forget our sponsors, Prospects Plus, offering a multitude of marketing products that will help ensure your success. Be sure to like this podcast and subscribe to our podcast channel, and we'll talk with you next week.
Thank you.